Hello and welcome to my two cents. My name is Henry Igwebike, and today we were talking about a very important topic, very sensitive one because it concerns not just us as Nigerians, but sub-Saharan Africa and across Africa in its entirety. And that is the weapon fashioned against Ghana. Yes, you had me right. The weapon fashioned against Ghana. And when we talk about the weapon fashioned against Ghana, we're actually referring to a very narcissistic politician in Ghana called Hassan Ayariga, a very dangerous man, a man who will do anything to ensure that his fellow Africans get a dose of what they never deserved, and that is Hassan Ayariga. So we're talking about him and why it's very important for the future generation of Pan-Africanists to know that the behavioral traits of a man like Hassan Ayariga is something no one should ever emulate. Because if we go that route, then possibly we would never see or have Africa in the nearest future. Now, for some of us, the internet right now is overwhelmed by the very popular slogan, Nigeria must go in Ghana, which is synonymous to what happened, many decades ago in 1983 during Shehu Shagari, when Ghanaians were expelled from Nigeria. And we're having the repeat of that also in Ghana, but it's very so important that we understand where this is coming from. For those who do not know history, that like Hassan Ayariga, in 1969, that was when Nigerians were asked to leave Ghana in 1969. And in 1983, Nigerians equally asked Ghana to leave Nigeria. Unfortunately, what lots of people might call is this some form of ping pong game between Nigeria and Ghana. In 2025, we have yet another Nigeria must go out of Ghana. But why this is so very important, especially at this time, is that the world is moving fast. Other continents are moving fast. Other continents are thinking, how can we crisscross? How can we navigate? When you travel from the UK to France, you don't need anything. Just enter a speed train and you get yourself in France. You get yourself to Spain. You get yourself to Italy. You get yourself to Germany. In Africa, we don't have that. And rather than us as a people think of how we can make that happen for us, rather what we have are people, personalities, narcissistic personalities like Hassan Ayariga, who are there to build the flame of hatred and bigotry of blacks against black, Africans against Africans. So very unfortunate. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Now, it's no longer news that all of this stemmed from a so-called SND in Ghana, who said he was allegedly said he was building an Igbo kingdom in Ghana, which lots of people have said there's nothing wrong in it. Has he broken any law as a result of that? Has he committed any crime? As much as we know, he hasn't committed any crime. Because if we talk about people coming to other nations and building a colony or community, we can see it in the life of Chinese people. Wherever Chinese people go, that's what is called the China land, right? Or the Chinese ground, or Chinatown, right? Where Chinese people come together and build for themselves communities where they can, of course, find their food easily, find lots of things about them. So there's nothing wrong actually in people coming together, people of the same kind coming together to say, let's build a colony. There's nothing wrong with it. In the United States, we have lots of, communities. Ghanaians have communities in Ghana. Ghanaians have communities in Germany. Ghanaians have communities in Austria, in Canada, in so many places. So also Nigerians and Africans. Wherever you come from, you have to locate people that come from the same place that you come from. So there's nothing wrong about it. But on the part of Hassan Ayariga, for him, it is a crime, which I think is very similar to what Adolf Hitler practiced in the 1930s and 1940s. hatred against the Jews. That is what Hassan Ayariga is practicing in 2025. And it's very important that Ghanaians would understand that this man, Hassan Ayariga, is the weapon fashioned against Ghana. There is no difference between Hassan Ayariga and Mobutu Sese Seko. In fact, Mobutu Sese Seko is even better. He didn't drive away foreigners from the DRC or the Zaire. Rather, Hassan Ayariga is very similar to Idi Amin of Uganda. In 1972, he drove away Indians and Pakistanis out of Uganda. And what happened to Uganda? Uganda fell flat to its feet because the Indians and the Pakistanis were the engine block of Uganda. But because of his narcissistic behavior, his bigotry, he drove Indians and the Pakistanis out of Uganda. And that is what Hassan Ayariga is doing right now in Ghana. So also, people like Mugabe of Zimbabwe, when he asked the white farmers to leave Zimbabwe, forgetting that it was the white farmers that were building the economy of Zimbabwe. And when the white farmers left Zimbabwe, what was left of Zimbabwe? Nothing. And that is what Hassan Ayariga is practicing in Ghana. And that is why I think if you are a Ghanaian, this is an opportunity for you to not allow this happen to your people. Ghana is a lovely place. Ghana is great. Ghanaians are wonderful people, which is why I think it's very so important that people like Hassan Ayariga must be stopped by all cost. But just before we allow that happen, which we know would happen, let's take a look at some of the things that have been said by Hassan Ayariga. Some of the unfounded things that he has said against the Nigerians. And I'd love you to take a listen. And when we'll come back, we'll do some talking on that particular matter.
How many Nigerians are in this country causing troubles? The crime rate in Ghana, armed robbery rate is by Nigerians. Prostitution.
Where did you get your statistics from?
From GTEC. The prostitution.
On a more serious note,
I'm telling you from GTEC.
No, GTEC doesn't provide.
Let me continue. From GTEC.
No,
I'm giving you. I'm giving you. I beg you.
GTEC doesn't provide statistics on that.
So you can see, he said that Nigerians are armed robbers, Nigerians are kidnappers, that there's statistics that show that Nigerians are all of this. And when the host was asking him, where did you get this information from? He said from GTEC. Right? And of course, it was laughed as all true because he is a fraud. Hassan Ayariga is a fraud. All he is there is bringing Ghana down, creating a negative perception of Ghana around the world. And this is why I think Ghanaians should rise up to stop this guy. But just before we talk about this guy, Hassan Ayariga, let's take the opportunity to maybe look at who is Hassan Ayariga. According to open source research from Wikipedia, we have it that Hassan Ayariga spent his childhood in Accra and Bauku and moved to Nigeria with his parents after the overthrow of Lehman administration by Jerry Lawrence in 1981. He attended Ghana Secondary School in Tamale and then in Nigeria, Barewa College in Zaria. Barewa College, for those that do not know, is a very prestigious high school in Nigeria. And if Hassan Ayariga had attended Barewa College, then I would want to believe this was where he was indoctrinated by friends. This was where he was hypnotized to love hate. This was where he was hypnotized to love bigotry. This was where he was hypnotized like terrorists get hypnotized. Because there's no difference between Ayariga's behavioral traits with that of allegedly a terrorist whose desire is to maim people. Because why should you hate your brother for no just cause? Now, this is, I would love to believe, possibly where he was indoctrinated on the love for hate. Now, it says, but Hassan Ayariga, after Barewa College in Zaria, did not earn a degree there. He eventually studied accountancy at London School of he went to London School of Accountancy, yet likewise neither pursued or acquired any degree. Ayariga later attended Atlantic International University, an uncredited university often described as a degree mill. This is not Ayariga's only dubious American educational credential, as he is also a recipient of a honorary degree from Reagan National University, an institution likewise widely reported as a fraud. In addition, the very accreditor of Reagan National University, the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools itself, became unrecognized in the United States because of its lax standard. Despite styling himself as a doctor, Ayariga has never actually earned any degree from an educational institution currently accredited by recognized authorities within the country in which it is domiciled. So we can see that Hassan Ayariga is a fraud. It's a fraud. It's open source research. I didn't make this up. I actually did not make this up. He is actually a fraud, a big one at that. And why I think Ghanaians should never take this man seriously. This man will bring Ghana down. God forbid, Hassan Ayariga becomes the president of Ghana. God forbid, in his dream, I am very so positive that Hassan Ayariga would crumble the economy of Ghana. And remember, there is this African adage that says, or proverb that says, when a masquerade has no one to pursue, it begins to pursue the man holding on to his money. If Hassan Ayariga succeeds in getting Nigerians and other Africans out of Ghana, the next thing Hassan Ayariga will do is begin to go against minorities in Ghana. That is what he will do, most obviously, because it's a template. People with narcissistic behavior come with a template. So it is not going to be anything different. The reason why he has a front line is because he is fighting against foreigners. And when the foreigners are gone, he will start fighting his own people. And I tell you the truth, there won't be any difference between Hassan Ayariga and Adolf Hitler, which of course I will say on my portrait of the weapon fashioned against Ghana, and that man is Hassan Ayariga.